Hey, what's up? It's Kit. Time for another video. Let's hang out. Alright, so if you're new to this channel talks about the hows and whys of fishing. We cover everything from big game, ultralight, everything in the middle, including fly fishing. And today, we're gonna have a hangout for a preparation because, and I haven't told anyone this, so whoever's watching this right now, this explains what's gonna happen in the next few days, okay? So, I'm leaving for a trip, and this trip is, well, it's gonna be to the south of the Philippines, okay? It's gonna be in the south of the Philippines, and I'm gonna be looking for some fish there, and I'm gonna take you guys on this journey, okay? There's a few things that I will have to do in the Philippines, and there's some fish there that I'm after that I want to catch, and I'm preparing for that. Now, the first part of this video is me talking about the gear I'm gonna take, okay, and why. And also, another thing is that it's gonna be in two parts. I'm gonna be in one part of the country in the first few days, and then another part of the country in the next days, and a lot of the hunting would be in the second part, okay? So basically what's gonna happen is that I'm gonna take you guys on this journey. I am not too sure if I'm able to upload, but what I will do is actually do some update videos on my phone. I'm gonna have a chat with you guys for sure, and basically just kind of get you guys up to speed on what I'm doing, where I'm at, and stuff like that. Or maybe I'm not gonna say where I'm at, but if something happens, or even if nothing happens, okay, so probably every day I'm gonna do a short vlog, okay, just to keep you guys updated and all that, and then like a video when I get back, or a few videos when I get back. Hopefully we'll be able to do something there. Alrighty, but for now, I'm gonna show you guys what I'm taking and why, okay? So as for the reel, I'm taking this, which is my Twin Power 4000 HG, okay? And this is kind of like a bit, it's not LSJ, okay? It's a bit higher, so we're looking at shore jigging, okay, up to about 50 grams, okay? And the rod that I chose to go with this, and this is PE 1.5 right here. If it's not PE 1.5, it'd be like PE 1.2 or 1.5, so it's either there. I think more on the 1.2 than 1.5, because majority of the time what I do is usually scale things down. I am using 15 to 20 pound test leaders on this, okay? So irregardless of what I use this for, okay, what type of fishing, I am usually putting on 15, 20, or 25, okay? So 15 would be the longest length of leader, 20 would be kind of the normal, and then 25 would be the shortest. So 15, 20, 25 leaders for this. The line for this sized reel is usually 1.2, 1.5, okay? The highest that I would go for this combo would be probably a 2, so 1.2, 1.5, or PE2, okay? So PE 1.2, PE 1.5, PE2. But for this particular reel, I have 1.2. I remember now, okay, 1.2, and the leader, I don't know if you could see, but that's pretty thin. It's a long piece of 15 pound, okay? Now, majority of the lures that I'm going to be casting would be in the 30 to 50 gram range, which means I'm able to use stuff like the heavier peche, which I will use. Okay, we will be using some cutlass. These are the light models, but I'm making sure to actually take the right ones, of course. So we are also going to be taking the real mackerel. Okay, so those sizes are actually really good for casting distances, and where we're going, we're actually going to be casting some top waters such as something like this, and then we are going to be tossing a few heavy minnows, and these are 40 grams, 42 maybe. So this combo is actually kind of perfect. We have different colors, of course, for this, and two sizes that we're taking. There's smaller ones and then heavier ones, and make sure that we have that. This is pretty much the box that we're taking. And then we also have some poppers that we're going to be taking, such as these skitter pops. We are going to have walk the dog minnows. Definitely one of these. This is the X-Wrap Walk 13. All right, so I'm actually gonna take this for another purpose. Okay, so definitely something like this that we could cast, but the thing that we're making sure is that we actually have lures that would cover everything from the top, middle, and bottom. Okay, so this is not final because there's a lot of minnows here that I kind of need to take off, and we're going to be putting some lures that would help us explore. One of them would be this one right here. Okay, this is a South African, they call it a plug. Okay, so it's similar to a GT ice cream, only that the material is a bit more robust. So I'm gonna be taking a few of these, and I'm probably gonna upgrade the hook, put some assist hooks on this. But the reason why I'm taking this is because you can cast this really far. You can retrieve it with your rod tip up. You just retrieve it, and then it swims really well. And guess what? These things are very easy to work, and these are not common lures. So, which means that when we're going somewhere where the fish have not seen something like this, more than likely they'll strike it. Okay, so this is a predator plug. Okay, so we're gonna take a few of these, which I have. Okay, and then we're gonna do actually, you know what, after I make my final selection, I'm going to go through with another video for lures, because there's two systems that we're taking. Okay, so we'll discuss the hardware, the rod, and the reel. Okay, now this is the rod I'm taking. Okay, so this is the cross stage shore jig, and the model is CRX 964 LSJ. So it's 9'6", and it is 4-piece. So this actually fits inside my luggage perfectly, and I've tested it already, or tested it in the luggage. And okay, so 4-piece, very convenient for travel. The tag is still there. And I'm not gonna take it until we get back home. So put it here. It's very convenient. Has its own carry case, as you can see, and it's kind of rigid. So when I put it inside my suitcase, I know it's not really gonna get damaged. But just as a precaution, of course, we're gonna be protecting this. Very, very, very useful. Now, the reason why I got this is because its lure weight is so it's 30 to 50, okay? And the reason why I'm taking this, I have another one, which down the line I'm going to show you guys, because right now, it's kind of not the right time for it. right? So for this particular trip, I found that this would be the most useful one. And for exploring, I think for this, I'm treating this like an expedition. So for this particular one, I think this is actually quite good, you know, especially with the casting weight, because we are actually expecting something. Now, when you're going out on an expedition, you don't play around, okay? So when you're going out, it's kind of high stakes, depending on how you see it, kind of high stakes. So you have to maximize your advantage. So for me, with the reel, I know that putting thinner line will help me get distance, and then I would be able to explore the places where I want to explore, and have long casts. Now I know for a fact that the places that I'm gonna go to don't have a lot of snags, which means I want more line than more power. Okay. If I'm going to a place where it's full of snags, different story. Very, very different story. What I would want to do is balance my outfit for power. Okay, so for this particular one, I have up to 50 grams of casting weight, and 30 would be kind of like the game. Now we're going after fish that grow pretty big, so I'm not gonna mess around with other stuff. Okay, so that's one. Now the other is my trusty fly rod, or one of them. Okay, now this particular rod is not for sale anymore. This is a Temple Fork Outfitters, and this is a 10 weight. So most of the time it would either be a 9 or a 10 when I travel. In this particular instance, we're actually going to be using a 10 weight. Okay, so this is a BVK. So this rod actually is I have another one that is kind of similar, but the BVK is actually a very good all-around casting tool, and it's 9 feet, so pretty normal and standard. 4-piece, again, pretty normal and standard as a fly rod. But with a 10 weight, I'd be able to cast poppers, which is actually one of the things that we are going to be doing. Casting poppers and something that makes noise on the surface, disturbing the surface. And then I'm gonna make a video of me tying flies for this so that you have an idea, and I'll explain, and I'll do that later on. But we still have a couple of days to go. So in one of the videos, I'm gonna be showing you the flies that I am going to be casting with this. And in another video, it would be the lures. Okay, so you saw a preview of the lures. Okay, so I'm taking one reel for the shore jigging outfit, which is this, and then for the fly outfit, I'm gonna be taking this and this. Okay, so the reason why I have two lines is because of, or two reels, is really because of laziness. So I have my outbound short on this, and this is a reel that can do 10 to 12. Okay, so this is a 10 to 12 reel, and I really like this. So there we go. So for poppers, I think this is gonna work for this particular one. It's actually quite light, so even if it looks big, doesn't matter because it's light, and it retrieves faster. So if I'm casting poppers, I'm gonna be using that. If I'm gonna be casting streamers, I'm gonna be using my Allen Alpha 9 weight. Okay, this is actually a 9 to 10. So this is a 9 to 10, this is a 10 to 12. And for this particular one, it would be for streamers. So I have I think a tarpon taper on this, which gives me a really good soft presentation. Whereas this one is an outbound short. So I have bulky flies and poppers for this. I could just use one rod, and that pretty much covers it. And then for obviously for streamers and a bit more delicate presentations, it would be this fly reel, the Allen 9 to 10. Okay, so that's that. Obviously, I have other outfits. It's just that right now, I think these are the ones that that take the cake. So both of these are actually floating line. So when, especially since this is my first time going to this particular place, I am taking something that's easier to manage. Now, down the line, it's a different story. Okay, down the line is a different story. On the jigging front, so this is not just casting. On the jigging front, I actually have a rod waiting for me there. So what's up, CTS? Thank you very much for the hookup. So there's a rod waiting for me there, and on the update, actually, I'm gonna show you guys something. It's quite funny. So there's a story for this particular rod that's waiting for me in the Philippines. So what's gonna happen is that I think after I arrive, which is next week, early next week, when I arrive, I'm gonna have to like fix something. As soon as I fix something, and then I'd be able to have everything sorted out. As soon as I get to my where I'm gonna be fishing for the rest of the stay in the Philippines, the rod's gonna be there. It's gonna be sent down there. Okay, so very very familiar rod, sorta, right? So for the jigging front, I'm gonna be taking my L30. Okay, an L30. And a lot of people would be asking why my choice is an L30 and not an L50, even an L80 or an L100. But see, here's the reality of things, right? So, this is the Philippines I'm going to, not Australia, not the US where there's kind of big fish swimming around. And even if I'm going to those places, one of the first reels I'm probably gonna take is an L30. Again, slow jigging is it's a finesse system, okay? And where I'm going, majority of the fish that we're most likely gonna catch aren't gonna be big, okay? And more than likely, these are very pressured fish. So when you're dealing with situations like that, it is often more efficient if you have the lightest line and the lightest leaders possible and the lightest lures to get down to the depth that you're fishing in, and being able to target the fish. Okay, now a lot of people tend to go overboard and think that, hey, the bigger the better. Now, unless you're going to a place where monsters swim a lot, that makes sense. However, in a place where we're going to, where it's close to the city, there's a lot of people fishing, very different story. And this is something where this sort of thing actually matches. Okay, so having a rod that fits this is actually very very important for me. So that's why I actually jumped on the I have a crap load of rods here which I could take. However, since I'm going to be going to this place a lot, it makes much more sense for me to actually leave a rod there. Okay, and this is exactly what we're doing. That way, when I go back home, all I have to do is just take a reel. And that is it. Okay, so this is exactly what's happening right now. I am going to take travel rods for the type of fishing that I think I'm finding there. When I get there and figure things out, what's going to happen is that probably on the next trip, I'm going to take some rods that I could use for there and then leave the rods there. That's it. And then every time I go, I can just take the reels. And then I know that, I have gear there that I could use. In this instance, I'm going to leave a rod there that I could always use, and it fits an L30 and L50. That's it. Now, this particular reel gives me, I think, the mostest for everything. Okay, sensitivity, strength, capacity, everything, comfort. Okay, so this particular reel, the size, it's basically equivalent of a Ocean Jigger 1500. Obviously, this is stronger. It has more line, and it holds more line. Okay, it holds more line, and the good thing about this is that the drag system is so smooth that even if you have nicks on your leader, it's a bit more forgiving, and the chances of you catching that fish because of the drag system of this, it's not just about smoothness. Okay, it's because of how this reel, the drag on this reel works. It works very similar, if not the same, as a fly reel. So when you're using a fly reel, the biggest consideration for fly reels, if you don't know, is the fact that it has a very low startup inertia. What happens is that with flies or fly fishing, you're actually using very thin line. Now, to put this in perspective, okay, to be able to get a record for fly fishing, the maximum leader size, okay, the maximum leader size that you could use is 20. That's it. Over 20 pounds, you can't claim a record. So there are several rules that you could use to your advantage. Like, take for example, there's a small amount of bite leader or shock leader that is allowed, but predominantly your tippet is only a certain length of 20-pound test. That is it. So marlin world record, 20-pound tippet. What do you call this? Shark, 20-pound tippet with a bit of wire. So if you are fly fishing for records, you're restricted up to 20. So which means that when you're using a reel, or when you have a reel, it has to have a really good drag system so that that 20, at the very most, imagine, at the very most, that 20 is not going to pop. This is the whole reason why fly reels are so damn expensive. It's because of the drag system. Now, take that drag system, put it on a reel, you get the S2T. Okay? And that, because of that, these reels are kind of expensive. Okay? So it's not just, hey, we're putting this kind of drag there, the material, and then it'll act like that. It's not, unfortunately. I'm not saying that this is the best that you can get, or anything, because that's very subjective. Okay? But the drag system on the Studio Ocean Mark S2T and PWR is exactly that. All right. Now the others, like take for example the Z Japan, it has a different drag system. Obviously there are some special ones like the UAE Limited, several ones that have the suspension system. Also, again, different drag system altogether. I think the silver one has something that's similar to this. Okay, and then some of the special edition ones also have a similar, not the same, similar to this. So not as quite as advanced as the S2T, obviously, but they use the same material and the same principle. So you get about, let's say, 70% of what this has. Okay, so that's it. But the most advanced that you could get would be this, and I've tried it. I have the other models as well. You'll feel that this is just different, and yeah, I mean, it's the best that they can. It's the best that they can make. So that's that for this one. All right. So I believe that the L30 is really more than enough for the place I'm going. Okay, so that's it. Now I'm sure I didn't miss anything, but if I did, I'm gonna make a follow-up video. But again, just for the recap, we have a rod paired with 4,000 sized reel. This handles weights of jigs up to 50. Now the reason why I actually use this, I'm taking this shore jigging rod instead of the other one, which is practically for lures, is because shore jigging rods are very good for one other thing: casting stick baits. Okay, so I have a few top waters here that I'm going to cast with this, and yeah, I mean, this is like one of the three that I'm taking with me. So we have that, okay, we have this, and then there are others, obviously. So yeah, that's basically what we are what we have for the casting front. And then we have fly rod, matching fly reels. Also, I am going to be taking 2 bait casting reels. I have rods waiting for me in Manila that I could borrow from friends. So aside from these, there's 2 other reels I'm taking. So this is a right here, this is an Abu Garcia inshore, very strong reel, spooled with, this is 30-pound braid. Okay, so a rod that I could use for casting plugs. Okay, and then also this one, it's a Calcutta Conquest 200 HG. So that's going to be also pretty much used for, you know, this. I could use this. At least I have 2 reels to use. I'm just gonna borrow a rod from a friend there. What's up, Miko? Thank you very much. And that pretty much rounds up everything that I am taking with me. So this also serves as kind of like a checklist for me, because after everything, I'm gonna check exactly what I said on the video, review it, and then if there is something that I need to take with me, then that's it. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. And the next one, I'm gonna be talking about lures, my selection of lures, and then some flies that I'm gonna be taking with me. And if something else comes up, I'm gonna give you guys a heads up as well. Alrighty, so that's it for this video. I hope you learned something, and yeah, excited to go out there and take you guys with me. Alrighty, so that's it for now. And if you haven't yet and you want to learn more, click on that subscribe button. If you want, of course, your friends to learn, share this video, share this channel. If you want to see more, because I more than likely what's gonna happen is that it's gonna start this trip. So I have a members area, and then in the members area, I'm gonna be doing exclusive videos for the members. More than likely, I'm actually gonna show them the whole process of things. All right. So if I'm actually uploading something, take for example behind the scenes, which I will take with my phone, I'm gonna like have that as a members only video. So there's a lot of extras there, a lot more tips, of course, and probably some that I share that I only share for members as a perk. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Class dismissed.